Thanks so much for joining today.
Thanks for asking. It's a pleasure, and yeah, really great to be doing something other than mum stuff as well.
Yes, it must be. I can remember that. But I haven't experienced it in lockdown. So the reason that we connected, because this is the first time we've met.
Yeah, in person, not as in not in text online, definitely.
Yeah. And the reason that we connected is because you actually were brave enough to share a live where you were quite vulnerable, quite honest about your struggle that day in lockdown with the isolation and the parenting and the demands of being in a confined space together all day with two babies, basically. And at that time, I was really struggling with lockdown myself, and I just felt like, oh, it's valid to struggle.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the reason I did it, because the reason I feel so passionately about sharing that stuff and decided to go for it whilst I was in that particular emotion is because since becoming a mum, I find it anyway in society, but since becoming a mum particularly, where the struggles are real and people are going through that stuff on a daily basis, that people tend not to share about those challenges. And we do it as a society, don't we? You know, somebody says, how are you? And the general response is, yeah, I'm great, even if you've got lots going on. So, yeah, and I really wanted to connect with people in mums groups and things like that about how difficult and crap it is sometimes. And so, yeah, I felt really drawn to share how I feel when it's tough. So to give people permission and also to kind of open a space where people can be connected in that stuff so that they can release it and move through it more quickly so that they can get back to happiness quicker.
Yes. Because at the time I felt, because I was really struggling, I felt that my voice wasn't valid. And I had stopped doing lives. So I had been doing regular Facebook lives. And then because I was really struggling, I felt that I had nothing to say that was valid and had stopped. And watching you, it gave me permission to actually venture out there again, feeling a bit raw.
Yeah, because actually when you're in those emotions, it's the ones that are really valid. Because they're the ones where we need to be seen the most in some cases, in some ways. They're the ones where we need to be held by our friends and heard so that we can feel like we're not alone and get past it quicker. So yeah, in lockdown especially, I can't imagine, you know, I've got a garden and I've got big spaces, and you know, I know some people will be living in flats with no gardens. I think I've heard you say that was your case the other day.
Yeah, but I haven't got babies anymore.
With no babies, but some people are doing it with babies as well. So
exactly.
Yeah, and I find if we suppress them and keep going and just keep putting in our positivity strategies, which is fine, and I'm all for those as well, but you know, they can become a bit of an addiction in a way that you can then end up suppressing any of the negative emotions, and they'll come out sideways, you know, shouting or anger or
absolutely,
eating or alcohol.
Yes, absolutely. So your background is of being a hypnotherapist.
Yeah, I've been using the Free Mind system for over a decade personally, and I trained about 4 years ago. So since being a mum, I've been more focused on hypnobirthing and conscious parenting. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because it's I find in our society, it's parenting and motherhood especially, and pregnancy and birth has quite a lot of connotations around it being, it's going to be painful. There's probably going to be some sort of complication. And actually, I'm also passionate about getting mothers to realise that it can be easy, and like the statistics on home birth are actually the best way to have the safest by the NHS. It's stated on the NHS. The statistics for home births are the easiest, if you like, or the most risk-free. And so it's just giving people that empowerment to trust their bodies, that this is like a natural process. And if we can drop the social conditioning around what it's supposed to be like, then yeah, we can have beautiful home births.
Yeah, I've been really lucky to have beautiful home births myself. And
did you? That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
My first wasn't, but my second was. And
yeah, same. My first wasn't. Then the next 3 were.
4 kids, fantastic.
Yeah, they're all grown up now. I miss them actually. I miss them. I miss popping around for a cup of tea, sitting on their sofa.
Oh yeah, it must be hard not seeing them right now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I sometimes see them because we live in the same town. 3 of them live in the same town. But yeah, I do miss them. I miss their company.
Yeah.
And one of them I work with.
So my background in hypnotherapy kind of also led me to realise that this is what I want to share about and this is what's important, because ultimately it's like it's the centre of what I believe to be true for people to reach happiness more quickly, is to express the negative and be okay with that. And if we could all do it as a society and it be comfortable with that and that be okay, then yeah, it can definitely help. So in terms of coping strategies for right now, that's my top one. Me and my daughter did this. We were both a bit frustrated yesterday. It was a long day.
Yes.
And she was looking like she wanted to scream, and I definitely felt like I wanted to scream. So we held hands and did a countdown 3 to 1 and just screamed at the top of our voices whatever we wanted to say. And she's 2. Bless her.
Amazing. Did she really get into it?
She did. She did get into it. It helped for a little while.
Yeah.
not long. You know what they're like it too.
Yeah. Very changeable. Yeah. Very short attention span. Yeah. So you're at home with a 2-year-old and a baby who you're still breastfeeding.
Yeah, she's 5 months.
5-month-old baby. And doing 20 nappies a day.
Yep.
And did you start your blog during this time?
I did. So I basically I decided that day, when the one that you saw of me being emotional, I started doing them each day, and then I continued that week, every day that week, as a kind of challenge to myself to start. And yeah, I loved it. So I decided to start the blog. It's called Mum Truth.
Mum Truth.
Yep.
That's such a good name.
Yeah, and already I've had some fantastic feedback from mums who are like, thank you for saying it. I've just had a terrible bedtime, or, just being able to come together. And especially at this time, I find on the mum groups, there's lots of togetherness about how to cope and how to get through, so activities you can do with your kids, or baking ideas you can do with your kids, or make sure you get out for a walk each day. But the reality is it's just not that easy sometimes, especially with under 5s. So the babies that can't go to the toilet by themselves and can't feed themselves, it just adds so much extra pressure. And I can feel like I'm on Groundhog Day 3 times a day, just endless loops of tasks.
Yes.
So yeah, I did. I started my blog during this time, just like so many people are finding their passion and getting to it, because we're all locked in, and it's fantastic actually how we've all been forced to stop, take stock, and realise what's really important for us.
And to actually be really brave and do something that maybe you wouldn't have done for a year or more.
Well, I would have been so busy taking her to nursery, going to swimming, doing this and that, and so I wouldn't have felt like I had space to do anything outside of my normal routine.
Yeah.
So even though I'm crazy busy, I've been motivated to do other things in the evenings, where usually I would flop on the sofa and not do much else.
Yes. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. There's so much beauty coming out at this time.
Yeah, there is creativity coming up, but that's not to put pressure on people to feel like they ought to be more creative.
Definitely not.
Some of us actually need a creative outlet to feel that we're contributing.
Yeah, I'm a very creative person, so that's my outlet anyways, to be creative. But yeah, I can totally see how some people who might not be like that are just, you know, I think this time is giving us all what we need individually. So if you need to stop and do absolutely nothing, then that is what you need to do.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm getting that as well by not taking, I've realised, you know, I would take them all over to these baby groups and things, and actually I'm doing quite a lot of that stuff by myself at home with them.
Yeah.
And of course the connection with other kids and other parents is good, but maybe not every day once this is all over.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is that sort of being forced to take stock of our routine and sort of wondering which part of it we want to reclaim after this.
Exactly. Yeah, and how life is going to be different once we're allowed out again.
Yeah.
I have to say though, I am getting to the point where I am just praying that we're going to be allowed out soon.
Yeah.
At least I heard a rumour that we'd be allowed out to see our family units. And I think it's really important because I think it's kind of getting to the point where the priority for me is switching from safety to the disconnect with family bonds and family connection.
Yes.
And being able to go between houses, I think, is important.
I agree. If we were able to do that, I think it would make such a difference to people's mental and emotional health.
Yeah.
Especially elderly people, and especially people with young children.
Exactly. Yeah, because there's just no break. There's just no break otherwise.
Yeah.
And you end up like me staying up till midnight because you just need a little bit of adult time.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's only so long our human bodies can take that kind of exhaustion, really.
Yes, absolutely. Waking up to feed at night, getting up early, and it's just things like not being able to pop to the swings, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, our road is quite busy, so I haven't even been taking them out in the pram on the street. We drive to a field nearby, so it's really difficult to like motivate myself to get them all packed up, go out, do that.
Yes.
And yeah, I've seen quite a few places saying, oh, you know, we should be grateful, especially on mum pages. We should be grateful. We shouldn't, you know, you're lucky you've got kids. You're lucky you've got your health, and all of that stands. And I learned this thing a while ago in a workshop I did, which is to use the word and what it means is basically you can be in a really shitty place and be really grateful and everything as well, and they can coexist, and you don't need to have one or the other, and one doesn't negate the other. So just because I'm saying it's really difficult doesn't mean that I don't like being a mum or that it's really or I don't like my kids, but it's really healthy for me personally and people that I know to use that to make sense of all the different emotions that you're feeling.
Yes, and a lot of people I've spoken to are struggling on some level at some point during the day, but don't feel that it's okay to express that because they know people who are in worse situations.
Yeah, that's a classic one, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's, you know, there's people dying, there's kids with holes in their hearts, there's, you know, grandparents and people being ill all over the place. So my struggles aren't valid, but that's just not the case.
Yes.
It's all relative.
And I suppose what you're doing is encouraging people to actually express what it is that they are experiencing to their close friends, even if they feel like it should be different. So I'm really lucky because I've got this, and this, but this is really difficult today.
Yeah, and it's more than that because it's about empowering people to express it. But then let's say the brave ones that do, right, who take a step and decide they're going to go against the norm and express it. It's actually about changing the way that people respond to it. So I've got this thing, if I cry, I don't want somebody to offer me a tissue, because it takes me out of my experience of releasing whatever it is that's coming through those tears.
Yes.
And it's that sort of thing that happens in society, where you express that you're upset. Like the comments I got from that post you saw were incredible, fantastic amounts of support and love, and it was overwhelming, to be honest. And at the same time, there was quite a lot of the energy of "don't worry, you'll be fine." And then the next post, when I was more smiley, it was, "Oh, it's fantastic to see you smiling again." And it's like this, like, oh, let's get her back to smiling, you know. And really, I want this as well to be a movement, let's say, where people become more comfortable experiencing when other people are feeling negative.
Yes.
So they can hold space for them.
Yes, absolutely.
Allow them to just be crumble into them, be held by it, so that they feel loved whilst they're going through it, and then come out the other side.
Yes, and that not handing someone a tissue, it's so fundamental, because it's basically saying, blow your nose and pull yourself together now.
To me, it says, stop crying. So subconsciously, even though I know it's just an act of love, I pull myself together, and it stops my process.
Yes, absolutely. So for those of us who are able to hold our friends when they're in that place, would be a wonderful gift at this time.
Yeah, I'd say it's an invitation to, maybe reach out to somebody today and say, who's, maybe there's a mum that or a person in isolation on their own who struggles for mental health, or just being by themselves, that you could just say, I want to hear you today. I want to hear where you're at, good or bad, and I won't try and make you feel better. I'll just hold you and hear you.
Nice. That's a really nice, different approach, because so often the way we communicate is, what are you up to? What you're doing? Yeah. It's all about activity. Like when we meet someone, what do you do? Hi, what do you do?
Yeah.
Whereas to actually say to a friend, I'd love to hear how you are today. That's a much different conversation.
Yeah, and we do say it linguistically. We do say, how are you? But we don't really mean that. So when I was working in an office for a while, when I was event manager, I decided, I had started personal development, and I decided that whenever anyone asked me how I was going to tell them the truth. So often I'd say, actually, I'm really stressed and I'm feeling shit, and and I'd tell them how I was feeling, and the response would be, oh, really uncomfortable often. Maybe you should go and have a tea break.
Yeah.
But what I would love is for the response to become the norm, that you can say, oh, I really hear you. That must be hard today. And then it's okay. It's okay.
That's simple. That's simple. I hear you. It must be hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm here for you.
And I'm here for you, yeah.
Yeah.
And any other number of support without taking away their emotion.
Yes. Yes.
And so, yeah, for my mum truth, that's really what I'm trying to cultivate, is that culture.
And there's never been a time like this for mums. There's never been a time like this.
No.
So what a wonderful gift. What a wonderful gift to be able to give.
Yeah, I hope so. I think some people might, because there is definitely a space for coping strategies, and I think this way of thinking can threaten that. It's like, if I do that, will I lose my shit completely? I think some people are scared to go there, because they feel like it might open up a can of worms. And in the short term, maybe it will. Maybe you'll touch on something from your past that needs resolving. Maybe you'll cry a lot that week. Yeah. But my opinion and my experience in this is that if you do, then it will move through, and in the long term, you'll be much happier.
Yeah, and it's finding those appropriate support systems, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that it's possible to be vulnerable, at a difficult time, because I understand that fear of, like, I had that myself about falling apart at the beginning of lockdown. Like, I don't want to be at home on my own crying for 3 weeks. It seemed like it was going to be 3 weeks at the time, 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Let's count now.
Yeah, lost count. I have as well. Yeah, and then all of those. I ought to be able to do this. I ought to be doing something practical. But if I hadn't allowed myself to go into my place of pain, then I wouldn't have found something exciting and new, which is having conversations with people, which I really hope will help other people to get more out of this time. Not get more in a like productivity way, but get more in being able to be with all of the feelings that come up every day, sort of way.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many free webinars and courses and slashed price workshops and all sorts going on. I've downloaded loads. I haven't looked at any of them.
Have you?
But it's yeah, especially if you're one of those people that uses busyness as an addiction, which is definitely what I do. You know, if you keep busy, you don't feel, right?
Yeah.
Then this time can definitely have that pressure. But I think it's gone on so long that it's not possible to do that. You can't keep learning languages and doing courses and for weeks and weeks on end. It doesn't work. And that's why I think it's so beautiful, this experience. And this is the first time that the whole globe, the whole of humanity is having this shared experience of this threat, and the shared experience of being stuck at home, the shared experience of the wave of how long we've had to do it for, and the first of all maybe the excitement about what can I get done, and then the realization that there's nothing that's going to stop us looking at our emotional shit right now.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you starting this and me starting my blog and people coming out to talk about that because it's up for people.
Yes, absolutely. And that actually is exciting.
It is exciting because people are actually coming to their truth.
Yes, because I can quite easily get into the politics of it, the global politics of it, which is, I think there's a validity to that, but I also think the real truth is with me, regardless of what any situation might be to do with any of this, the real truth sits with, how do I feel right now?
Yeah. And the whole world has been on such a, what are they called, hamster wheel of activity. And I think this is the first time we've all really been able to feel where we're at and feel collectively. I mean, I can feel what it's like out there for people. And it's definitely brought me, I feel closer to everybody, even though we're so separate. And those every Thursday when we go outside and clap for the NHS, I get so emotional because the whole, we're so connected. You're in your little bubble in your house, and then you go outside and you realise that everyone's having the same experience as you. Yeah. Apart from the kids, that's different.
Yes, that's what it is, that feeling. I do get, when the clap happens and I'm on the second floor, so I hang out from my window, and because I live at the top of a hill in a load of valleys, the sound just echoes for miles of people clapping and cheering, and it feels it's like a tidal wave, like a surge of like love and connectedness, and also missing people, and some sort of, I don't know how to describe it, as some sort of empathy with everyone's situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of connecting us all, making us feel together, making us appreciate each other more, and Yeah, I'm curious to know what's going to happen once it's over and we can go out again, and whether people will go back to everything as before and it will ramp up because people are so excited to get back to lots more, or whether people will take a step back and consider more what they do and who they're connecting with and how they're connecting.
Yes.
I'm not sure this pandemic is quite bad enough for it to have a massive, massive change.
Yeah.
But hopefully there'll be a small one at least.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I find it interesting as well how there was all the climate change stuff going on just before this, and all the governments are saying, oh no, we can't reduce our emissions to this because, well, of business, and now we've been forced by nature to stop.
Yes.
And the photos are incredible online, seeing the Himalayas again and the pollution that was going down.
Yes. And we can actually see it ourselves. I can see it when I go for a walk. The colours are different.
Yeah.
The grass is greener. Everything's more vibrant because it's less polluted. And now that we've actually experienced that, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday. Maybe we won't get so many flights.
We won't get so many what? Sorry?
Flights.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we won't just hop on a plane. Maybe we'll think about it. And maybe we'll think, well, there's that one place I'd like to go this year. Maybe we'll appreciate the nature that's around us more.
Absolutely, because it's proven that it's possible. So I really wanted to homeschool my kids, and then I started, well, I had them, and I couldn't conceive of having them 5 days a week.
Yes.
7 days a week. But now I've had to, and it's actually fine. You know, of course, I have my moments, and I want to share about those, but it's also fine.
Yeah.
And there's also some real beauty in it. The bond's gone up with me and my 2-year-old.
Yes.
And with the level of creativity in her, because she's bored and she's got to find new things to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's possible.
Yeah.
So we're finding the things that we thought are impossible to be possible, and that we can rest more.
Yes. And of course, the difference would be with homeschooling that you would be part of a network and you would meet up with other parents. The children would get activities organised by different parents with different skill sets and different talents. And actually, it wouldn't be just sitting at home. It wouldn't be just being at home. There would be so much possibility.
Yeah, now especially because the whole world's had to homeschool suddenly.
Yeah.
I wonder if people will continue. Some people will have loved it, I think, having their kids at home and spending extra time with them that they realise they're missing by then to school. So yeah, that is the one thing. If there's a big community of people homeschooling, it makes it easier, right? So you can share the load and meet up.
Yeah, there's this organisation called Education Otherwise.
Okay.
Because the law says that children have to be educated in a local authority school or otherwise, paraphrasing. So there's this organisation called Education Otherwise, and parents who are home educating set up little networks in their area and share things, share skills.
Fantastic. Watch this space. I'll probably be doing it in Barnet then.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was talking to a friend last night who's a single mum, and she said to me, what is that when you go into the supermarket and you just can't think and everything feels really weird?
When you go into a supermarket and you can't see
everything feels really weird. So she's like super organised, always got everything all together, single mum. And what is that feeling at the moment of trying to do something that you do every week, a weekly shop, and you get there and you just can't function properly?
Yeah, I've been feeling a bit like that, where I know I need to do my I think it's about the mundane tasks, and I think it's about the Groundhog Day, and I think it's about the not being able to have variety. So even within our list of tasks to do daily, it's this without the variety of being able to stop and speak to your neighbour or have a play date with the kids, those kind of daily mundane tasks get slotted into a really full and vibrant life. And now it's like that's all there is. And yes, you've got the vibrancy with your kids or whatever you're doing for those outlets, but the actual physical tasks are the same. So yeah, my coping strategies for that are one, leave them.
Yeah.
And be easy on yourself, and just take a step back and realize that, you know, they can be done the next day or whatever. But also for me, this has been a time for reconnection to my spiritual practices. So I used to meditate a lot and do yoga and things like that, and I lost touch with that because of my lifestyle. But being stuck at home means that I've got a little bit more time for that, or just, you know, literally giving yourself 10 minutes a day. I started this me time challenge. And I haven't actually been able to keep up with the activities, but I have been able to keep up with the 10 minutes a day for myself. I either read or have a shower or just something that takes me out of the mundane. And I think those then can give you a bit of motivation to continue doing it, because it's draining. And I think that feeling your friend is feeling is that it's like a draining of, you know, we're humans, we need play and we need fun and we need to feel fulfilled and have our cups filled. And if all we're doing is going to the supermarket and changing nappies and cooking dinner, it can just become, it can feel like it's impossible.
Yes.
That's how I feel a lot, definitely.
Yes.
And so the me time challenge is really good way of doing that.
Yeah.
I also find, since I've been connecting with nature a lot at the moment, that even just going into the garden, or if you don't have a garden, to wherever you can get to a piece of nature and put your feet on the ground.
Yes.
And it's just been so powerful to be doing that again. And it's something that I advise anyway. And I put my baby's feet on the ground as well. It just helps to kind of re-energize you.
Yeah, it absolutely does. That's one of the things I'm most loving about lockdown, is being able to be barefoot a lot.
Is to what, sorry?
Being able to be barefoot a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And when I go out into the garden here, so I have now given myself permission to use the shared garden here, and I found a really nice little corner where I can sunbathe. I'm definitely not in any way. Yeah. And being barefoot on the garden, it's just amazing.
Yeah, if you put your feet on the ground and you just feel into your body and feel what is happening, it's like we're all connected, and the earth is alive and we're alive, and that energy can totally fill us up and give us energy for the next thing that we need to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel for your mum friend having to go to the supermarket. I'm doing everything online at the moment. That's my other tip.
Yeah. It's I think it's so do I. Yeah. So how can people find your blog?
So at the moment it's on Facebook. I've also got it on Instagram, but I haven't started adding the content there. So it's just, if you type in Mum Truth onto Facebook, it's public, so you'll find it.
And it's a Facebook page or a group?
It's a Facebook page.
Brilliant.
That's my blog page. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I've uploaded all the videos I did so far, so you'll be able to see those. And yeah, I'll be sharing more to come, and the ups and the downs, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, because a lot of mums I've spoken to and parents have said that the school WhatsApp groups can be quite a big pressure. So the schools have a WhatsApp group for each class. And in a very well-meaning way, people post their children's achievements every day. But it can feel to other mums particularly a bit hopeless, because they're not able to help their children to achieve that. It's not something that they can do. It's not within their skill set. It's not within their emotional ability in this situation.
Yeah, and even if, you know, if mums are working as well at the same time, I have a friend who's working full time, so she's 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and she's got a child, and it's just not possible to do all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm on a few homeschooling and unschooling groups on Facebook, and I saw this fantastic post the other day, which was, don't consider at least not sticking to the schedules and the curriculum in the way that the school is laying out. It's an invitation to keep up, but what might be more important is to teach them how to cook a meal, how to sew a button, get them involved in your day.
Yeah.
You know, how to use the lawnmower or the washing machine,
Yeah.
and use this time to teach them some daily skills that you might not be able to do in the busy lifestyle of school and work and bath time and all of those things when you get back to normal life.
Yeah.
And take the pressure off, you know, learning mental arithmetic or
Yeah.
any of those other things that I can't remember from school.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And they can be, you know, I said that it's the same thing. I'm on some toddler groups and people are coming up with some fantastic, like, cardboard dinosaurs. I did do a cardboard dinosaur, but you know, and sharing all of their fantastic baking and everything, and that's great for ideas, but it has to have some balance. It
Yeah.
has to.
Yeah.
It's just reality.
Yes. Yeah.
People tend to post when they've had a good day or when they've been able to achieve something positive. So Facebook and social media look like everyone is always overachieving and extremely happy.
Yes. So
And it's not true.
so true. Yeah. And we're all guilty of that.
Yeah, and then when somebody does share, like I did, people say, "Oh yeah, I have those days. Don't worry, everyone has those days." Really? I didn't know everybody had those days. I mean, of course, you know that they do, but they don't share about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this could be one of our big learnings from lockdown, to share our vulnerabilities, to
I
accept our
really hope so.
friends, and to accept our friends' vulnerabilities. Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
and to accept our own.
And to accept our own. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that acceptance was what you came to in that, uh, in what you expressed around, um, trying to have your day to be a certain day, and then obviously it can't because you've got two little ones, and the acceptance of the imperfection of real life.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, yesterday, I don't know if you saw my video yesterday, but it was one of those days I woke up. So I've decided in lockdown not to try and do too much housework and chores and all of those mundane things I just
Yes.
mentioned,
Yeah.
and to actually just try and play and be present with my kids as much as possible.
Yeah.
And but it builds up. So the washing up hadn't been done for a while. My dishwasher broke down a few weeks ago. I mean, it's just
Wow.
too much. And but yesterday I decided I was going to have a day of like doing the washing up and getting things done. And I literally I managed to cook one meal, I think, and that was it. And I hadn't brushed my hair and nothing had been done, and I wanted to do a live, and I just decided to go on and do it like that. And um yeah, and I think it gave me permission to show up like that and to continue my day like that. Actually, it motivated me to carry on and not worry that anything had been done.
Nice.
But it also allowed me to get back into being playful. So I was winding myself up because I hadn't done this list and I'd been putting pressure on myself because I hadn't managed to complete everything. And then once I shared that that was the case, I did some fantastic play with my child. And I saw your video of you swinging on that rope.
Yeah.
I love swings so much,
Yeah.
and it inspired me. We went outside in the garden. It was raining, but just briefly, and you know, had a bit of play and jumping, and you know,
Nice.
so
Yes, I love that.
getting back to play as
Yeah.
well. You know,
I
not
love
taking things
playing.
seriously.
Yeah, I love playing, and a lot of the activities that I normally do in the week are playing in a group. So, like going to trapeze aerial class.
Wow, fantastic!
Yeah, I love it, and I've only started it in my 50s. I love it. And that's what I miss. So actually finding a rope swing in the woods and just messing about on it, just such fun. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how the joy comes out of that sadness.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about your friend. You know, if she can find some way to bring some play and spontaneity into the monotony of lockdown, then that might kind of energize her a bit.
Yeah,
She might just need to have a big cry.
yeah.
Feeling like, oh God, I'm in the supermarket again. I just, you know, it can just feel awful.
I've cried quite a lot in lockdown, and I find that supermarkets are quite upsetting places.
Yeah, rows and rows and
arrows and worrying about being too close to people, and it's so much to negotiate together with remembering what to buy.
absolutely.
And I'm only buying for me. I don't have to take into account other people's needs or take other people with me or be responsible. And I still find it a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, it can be quite stressful
Yeah.
shopping at the moment for your family, because I keep overbuying
Yes.
in fear that suddenly people are going to stop delivering or food's going to start run out, you know.
Yeah.
And I know not everybody is able to financially, so
Yeah.
it can be a real stress.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Good. So I hope that lots of people join your page now.
Thank you, Claire. Thank
And I
you.
hope lots of mums have really enjoyed listening to what you've got to share, and to your such open-hearted vulnerability. I love it.
Thank you, Claire. I've definitely had some amazing feedback and people thanking me. So yeah, we'll see how the journey goes. And yeah.
And the Free Mind app people can download for free.
Yeah, it's available for 6 months at the moment for free for lockdown purposes.
And I can highly recommend it as a very soothing thing to listen to.
Yeah, and there's everything there. You know, you can use it for everyday kind of calm, sleep, and also to work on some deep healing.
Lovely. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me, Rhia.
Thank you, Claire. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
So lovely to meet you.
You too.
Have a lovely day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.